Welcome to the sadistic world of Artist Simulator, the game where you have to paint and sell your paintings so that you can afford to pay the rent each week before the landlord kills you. So at the start of the game you're in this bedroom and there's not much of a clue as to what you've got to do. You're very much left to your own devices. There's this rent jar. Ignore these little diamonds here, they're going to be buttons, and ignore that horrible door. Let me turn the fake doors off. So we're going to go down this hallway, and when we try to leave, the landlord is saying, "Where's my money?" All of the art, I draw it by hand on paper, then I take a picture of it and put it in Photoshop. I colour it all in and add some effects. One thing I really like to focus on is the little touches, so you can see the dust floating around, and when I walk on the stairs you can hear the creak, and the eye of the landlord will follow you. I love adding those sorts of little touches. I think they really add up. Today I added these crows, so they will sort of peck and flap, and if you go too close they will fly off. There's absolutely no reason for them to exist in the game other than the fact that they look cool. So I've got this sort of parallax effect. I'm making this in Click-to Fusion, and it's a 2D game software really. So any sort of 3D effect you have to make using layers. So the idea essentially is that you'll go into the forest and you can smash these things and kill these bugs, because that's going to be your paint that you're going to paint with. It's quite satisfying. And just there's like a little bit of screen shake when you whack them. I like adding these sort of blurry foregrounds as well, just gives it a bit of depth. These pink ones are rare, so you'll actually you have to try and sell your paintings as well. It's not just a case of painting them, and there's different things you can do throughout the game to increase your chances of selling the paintings, and one of them is to use rarer colours. So obviously this street's very empty. I need to make all the buildings. There is actually an invisible building around here somewhere, which is what that fake door was that you saw earlier. I think there's a brush shop here. Yeah, so I'm going to buy a canvas for £5. You start off with 10. I'm going to buy that, so I've got my canvas. This is actually a blacksmithing anvil, so you'll be able to earn some extra money there. Like almost nothing. You'll earn almost nothing from doing that, but it's just a little bit extra. There's also a gambling thing, so if you're like really short on money, you can try and win some more. So now that I've got my canvas, I can take it back to my room, put it on my easel, and I can paint. Now the painting system, what it's actually doing when you paint is it's creating lots of these shapes, and the software is kind of limited because you can only have so many objects on a screen at any one time, and even if I put that limit to really, really high, eventually you're going to exceed that limit. So what I did was it will actually take screenshots of what you've painted and then put that behind instead of the blank canvas, so you're always just overlaying more and more objects, and then it deletes those excess objects because it's already screenshotted it and sort of flattened it, so you don't need to it doesn't need to store loads of objects. And a cool side effect of that is that it will create this sort of painterly effect, because it's always kind of layering it up, so it's almost like soaking into the canvas, because you'll get these semi-transparent layers that are going on top of each other. Take a screenshot, take a screenshot, take a screenshot, and it'll just layer it up. You can also mix your paints on here, so if I go red and yellow, I've got a nice orange, and then I could go red, yellow, a bit more yellow to have a slightly yellower orange, and it's unlimited. You could mix colours forever. I could go red, yellow, blue, yellow, yellow, red, red, blue, pink, blue, you know, and that'll be a unique colour that I haven't mixed before. The way it does that is to take the colour that you just clicked on and take the colour that you clicked on previously, and just basically add the RGBs together and kind of take the average, if that makes any sense. It was a lot of trial and error, but I got there in the end. So I can paint that, and now I can hold that, and then the idea will be that you would spend a certain amount of time on it. You can't just draw a scribble and hope to sell that. There is a certain system in place where you have to spend a certain amount of time and effort on it, and that'll be a little bit secret because otherwise you could exploit it. And obviously gamers are clever and they will exploit it anyway, but I'd rather try and keep it secret if I can. That's going to be a tavern. It's going to look completely different to what it looks like now. There's going to be a blacksmith guy. You're going to be able to buy different brushes, different canvases, because again that will increase your chances of selling the painting. Better canvas will actually mean that your paint will go further, because your paint runs out. You have to keep going back to the forest to get more paints. But if you buy a better canvas, which is obviously more expensive, but if you do, your paint will last longer. So there's going to be a second street that I can go to, and the second street will be a lot nicer than the other one. The other one's really dark and dim, whereas this one's going to be kind of a bit more opulent, and it's where the rich people live. So you've got the shitty artists like me painting stuff and trying to make art, and then you go to the nice street, the gatekeepers, the critics, and try and sell it. So I'm really looking forward to building this street, because I think I'm going to go for almost like a theatrical, circusy sort of vibe with it, lots of reds and golds and just really opulent. And there's going to be loads of different things. Like you just saw that I went into a critic's house there. She will like give you an indication of how likely you are to sell that painting, so you don't have to get it rejected instantly. Because if you get it rejected, like it's worthless. You're not going to be able to fix it. You don't have to basically start again. But this critic will tell you you're getting close. Spend a bit more time on it, and maybe you'll be able to sell it. There's also going to be some main quests throughout the game. So there's the tavern that I mentioned. There's going to be 5 other artists in there. So there's going to be a sculptor, a musician, a writer, an actor, and a poet, and they basically have been wronged in different ways. This is the pub. Do you like it? It looks good. They're going to send you on these quests basically to kill people, and because they've each been wronged by one person, and you kill the person, and then they give you another benefit, another perk that makes your life easier. So, for example, one of them will give you unlimited canvas, so you don't have to buy canvas anymore, or one of them will give you like really rare paints and things like that. So I want it to kind of be brutally hard to even make it through 1 week, so you're going to need to do those quests and figure out ways of making your life easier to actually be able to sell these paintings. So that I think the game started on Friday or Saturday morning, and it's now Sunday evening. So a week is like, you have to pay the rent on Friday. A week's maybe half an hour, 40 minutes. I need to check that. I've been tweaking it to try and get it right. But I kind of want it to be brutally hard to even make it through your first week, and then you're also the end game really is to complete these 5 quests. But you're going to need to stay alive long enough to complete them. So that means selling paintings. So I think you're probably going to ideally need to sell 2 paintings a week. And complete 1 quest a week, and then once you've completed them, it's kind of the end. But if you wanted to, theoretically, you could just see how many weeks you can survive. The rent is £100. I've currently got £3.60. And you sell a painting for about 90, but the rent goes up by £50 each week, so it just gets harder and harder, and you're trying to like figure out how you're going to do it. You've also got this energy bar. You need to sleep, otherwise you will pass out. If it reaches Friday at midnight and you haven't paid your rent, the landlord's going to come and get you, and that's going to be really fun to do. But it's like a scary sequence, and he's going to come and get you and kill you. But what if you're not in the house when it reaches Friday at midnight? Theoretically, you could just stay outside forever and not get killed by the landlord. So I've put this as a fail-safe, because if that reaches 0, you're going to wake up in bed anyway, and the only way to make that go up is to go to sleep. So even if you try to stay outside to avoid the landlord, eventually you're just going to pass out from exhaustion and then wake up in the bedroom anyway, and he'll come and get you. So one of my worst things making a game is the walk-in. I just hate doing a walk-in cycle, but I think this has come out okay. My friend helped me, he's an animator. So far I've done all of this completely by myself, but I did get some help with the walk-in. He made sort of just some rectangles with rectangular feet on them, so I could just overlay my art onto that, and I think it's come out pretty well. But there's a lot to do. I need to build basically the rest of the locations, the tavern, finish this street. It's very bare at the moment. The other street, then there's going to be a church. Some of these locations are to do with the 5 quests that I mentioned. So there's like a church, there's a theatre, there's a town hall. There's actually a clothes shop because you can buy better clothes, which again increases your chances of selling the art because the gallery owner thinks you look more presentable. So there's things like that. There's lots of little ways of increasing your luck, but you need to find the time to figure them out. And to get more time, you need to make sure you paint so you can actually survive that long. I need to do all the music. The only place that's currently got music is the house. That's just me playing piano with some horrible atmospheric sounds over the top. I think that one of the bits that will take the longest is the quests, the 5 quests, because they're going to involve like a little bit of story, almost like bosses, but not really, just not boss fights, just kind of boss moments with some like horror elements. I want it to all feel a bit kind of uneasy. You know, time's running out. You know, you've got to work. You've got to paint these paintings to survive, because it's hard being an artist, and it can be soul destroying and depressing, and it's good as well. But a lot of the time, it's just hard, and it makes you feel bitter and depressed, and that's kind of what I'm getting out with this game. It's you can see on the walls, loser. What does that say? Give up. You are nothing. Failure. I'm a writer, really, at heart. I love writing, and this game is kind of my way of just accepting the fact that writing is hard. I'm probably never going to be a successful writer, and all I can do is try. So I hope you like it. I hope you think it's cool. Feel free to leave a comment. Let me know what you think. I'm going to be doing more devlogs. I'm going to be keeping you updated with how I get on. Each of these things that I've spoken about could be broken down further, like the whole painting system, and I'm not very good at devlogs. The worst part of making a game, I think, is doing the devlogs, but you kind of got to do it. I had an idea for doing a different kind of devlog where it's a piece of art in its own right, like really going wild with it, but I just can't. This is how I do devlogs. I just talk, and hopefully you like it. That's all I can really do. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.